Here is the Washington Post today. Pentagon to detail troops to bolster domestic security. And it dovetails with the CBS News and AP articles of last week. Also, the Air Force Times headline, Gates Air Force active reserves must integrate. They are getting rid of the National Guard. Just huge things that are happening right in front of us, and that is coming up in the next hour. And it's being proposed to the public like, oh, we just now had this idea because the terrorists are about to strike any minute. We just now had this idea, and NORTHCOM just now in 2008 is deciding to deploy regular Army troops to the streets of America for natural disasters and to fight al-Qaeda. But when you actually read the directives put out by Gates that we covered last Friday here on the air, when you actually read what NORTHCOM has been saying they're going to do since 1993, when NORTHCOM was really set up, no, it wasn't set up in 2002, boys and girls. Neither was Homeland Security. It was set up in 93 by Bill Clinton. You can pull that up. Watch the speeches of him talking about it. They just are now unveiling it to the slaves in a big way. The entire setup is stated to remove Congress and remove governors, remove the elected representatives in the legislative at the state and federal level under the John Warner Defense Authorization Act and under PDD 51. And then any U.S. citizen can be secretly stripped of citizenship by any military officer or Homeland Security officer, secretly arrested, secretly taken to offshore facilities, secretly tortured, and secretly executed. And it's all right there in the Military Commissions Act. Go read it. Go read the articles we wrote about it in detail, showing you the subsections, linking to it. And people are marveling right now that everything I talked about is coming true. Well, don't marvel. Here's the parallel or the parable or the analogy. The parallel. It'd be like if I told my wife on a Sunday morning, hey, the NFL's going to have games all day starting at 3 o'clock. And then she went in and turned on the TV at 3 o'clock, and there was, the Jets playing the Giants. And she, oh my gosh, how did you know? How did you understand it? How did you? Well, I read the TV guide, honey. Or if my wife said to me, hey, Survivor's coming on tonight at 8 o'clock. And then Survivor came on, and I said, how did you know? You're psychic. She'd say, no, I read the TV guide. Still, though, even as it's all being announced, there are people all over the news, all over the message boards, everywhere, running around saying, I'm lying, this isn't happening. Those are definitely paid-for shills, folks. And when they attack me, the messenger, it's always about Alex Jones, never about what I'm saying or what I'm doing. It's he's a Fed, or he's getting rich off this, or he's everything that's in the COINTELPRO manuals to attack somebody who's trying to fight the New World Order. So just recognize when you see that, it's about debating about Alex Jones because I'm the most effective at getting this out thanks to you, the listener, spreading the word. It's a symbiotic team effort here. They are desperate to try to divert you. Now, I'm going to tell you again, it's not just in all the documents that this is a criminal organization, that this is a foreign corporate move using the military, not our military, not the U.S. military, now the globalist military, under United Nations and international corporate control, to carry out a rear guard action in the United States to militarize the police, to federalize the police, to have the police work with the Army in drug interdiction, in anti-terror operations, in surveillance of the American people, and in surveillance of the government, the legitimate government. And that's in all the announcements they're making, that they're spying on peace groups, they're spying on state legislators, they're spying on prominent business leaders. Military intelligence, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force are on the ground. You see the public face of this out at a city fair or function. You'll have the National Guard or regular Army MPs or regular Air Force MPs. They're just there to acclimate you and acclimate the natives to their presence and acclimate the troops and the police. But when you read what they're now announcing publicly, it's what was in all the previous classified and semi-classified and redacted documents. It was all there. And it is regular military involved in your everyday life, in the schools, brainwashing and recruiting your children to be domestic spies. That's in there. At checkpoints, and then doing lots of PR. Helping car accidents, using Army helicopters to airlift people in auto accidents. Again, training you to have the military involved in your everyday life. They're there as the rear guard as the U.S. is imploded and broken up into pieces. This is being done by design. We'll be right back. Next hour, I'm not just going to go over the history of the conversion of the United States and the Western world into a very oppressive military dictatorship. I'm going to break down what it's going to be like living under this. They are already in England, in Europe, arresting prominent newspaper reporters for criticizing Sarkozy in France. Top Italian judges announced that blogs and the Internet is illegal. No one is allowed to write political opinions but licensed newspapers. They are moving to try to restrict free speech similarly here with government registration of blogs to then tax them and control them. They arrested the head of the immigration department in England because they believe he leaked information that the government was secretly legalizing the illegal aliens and even putting them in high security jobs. And the anti-terror branch went and arrested him. And the leader of the Conservative Party, the second strongest party, came out and said this is a police state, Stalinesque. The rogue government, the private military government, controlled by the private banks, not the elected government, spies on the parliament in England, spies on the Congress here in the United States. This is what they do. It's criminal. And to have the military in Europe and here in the United States just announce, oh, by the way, the legislatures, the elected governments, you don't run anything. We're the military. We're spying on you. We work for these private banks. You know, we work for the president. We work for the prime minister. We work for the chancellor. And then they're always controlled by private boards, basically, that got them elected. And that's how it works. And so they mass all the power in the national security state in the name of keeping you safe from terrorism. They menace you with terrorism. And then when you go look at the official Northcom system they set up, and it's the same in Europe, it is designed around riots and suppression and mass arrest and roundups. They openly say it is for the people, and crowd control, and microwave guns, and sound cannons, and FEMA camps, and emergency relocation centers, and interrogation centers. It's for you. It's for me. And it's so the powerful elite can steal and take and put toll roads on whatever roads they want and seize water districts and triple the prices and have total control. Why? Because they are usurpers. They are conquerors. They are dark. They are powerful. It's what they do. It's their nature. It's history. And they've been slowly twisting and bending and brainwashing the military and the police into this culture to accept it as a good thing. These men and women on these power trips having no idea what they're part of. Now more and more is being revealed to them. It's outrageous. So that's coming up. Paul Watson's going to be joining us to recap, and there's been a lot of new developments and things that have come out dealing with Pakistan and India. Kurt Nemo's got a story about the supposed terrorist added to the list of Mumbai suspects who is tied in with al-Qaeda and the ISI. Also, U.S. massive naval air marine might in Arabian Sea opposite Iran, Pakistan, Iran. This is not just being reported by Debka File. The AP and others are reporting India is threatening nuclear tension and war. Indian president has said that they are, quote, at a war security level and are preparing for war with Pakistan. Here is your international crisis. Well, what did I tell you? A month ago, 5-6 weeks ago, when Biden and Colin Powell and everybody else, and Merkel and Barroso and Sarkozy and Brown, all these world leaders came out and said Obama will be tested on the 21st or 22nd of January. There will be an international crisis. People said, where will it be? And I said, Pakistan and India. None of them were saying that. How do we know? Because Obama, look, they talk to the public like they're children. And so they say all this right out in the open like people are fools. I put two and two together. Where is Obama saying he wants to move more forces? Where is he saying? Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan's gotten out of the globalist control. You've got the ISI terror faction controlled by Mossad, MI6, CIA, openly set up by them. I mean, that's even in mainstream news. Going and staging this terror attack with these commandos, killing more than 300 people,